countless cats in danger of being put to sleep.
The stories that we hear about how they're affecting each other and how humans and cats just, we call it magic. I think it's magical.
I stepped inside Maktabi Cafe to experience the magic its owner is talking about. That's next time on Your 704. For now, we're headed back out to talk to more of the city's entrepreneurs as they introduce us and you to some of Charlotte's most interesting spots. We'll see you next time. Until then, you can follow us as we work our way through Charlotte's neighborhoods on Instagram and Facebook. Just search for Your 704.
Nice. And now you can touch the auto blade.
Thank you.
Breaking right now at noon, 2 states, 1 team, now a reality. The Panthers bill now signed into law, giving them the green light to build a state-of-the-art practice facility and offices just across the border. A family devastated, their 16-year-old killed while getting ready for school. Police say someone targeted his home overnight.
And rain is back in the forecast, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. We're taking a look at just how much rain you'll see in your neighborhood.
Our 9 food drive underway right now. This is happening outside of our TV studios here in North Charlotte. It's all to make sure kids don't go hungry this summer. You're watching Eyewitness News live at noon. And we've got a lot to walk you through at noon. We start things out with storms getting ready to roll into the Charlotte area. You can see really gloomy out here from our Charlotte cam. And meteorologist Jacqueline Shearer is using Charlotte's only local radar to pinpoint when these showers and storms are going to move in, Jacqueline.
Yeah, and you know what? They are not far from reaching our area. We've been watching our national satellite network all day today as it pushes through our area, bringing with it a lot of rain. And we're seeing, of course, that heavier rain starting to move into the picture as well. When we're looking at a satellite and radar image, when we start to get into those yellows, reds, and oranges, that's when we're talking about heavy rain. So we definitely see that with this system, but we also see quite a bit of instability, and that's indicated by a little bit of that lightning in addition to some other impacts that they're dealing with there. So as we take a really close look at early warning Doppler 9, you see just how close it is to us. In fact, it is now in the high country, pushing towards the Charlotte area, arriving here this afternoon. And once it arrives, it really doesn't go anywhere anytime soon. We don't really get many breaks here over the entire 7-day forecast. We're going to take a look at just how much rain you can expect in your neighborhood all throughout the weekend, coming up in just a few minutes, John.
Breaking right now at noon, 2 states, 1 team is now a reality. Governor Henry McMaster just signed a $115 million incentives bill into law. It means the Panthers can build a state-of-the-art headquarters in Rock Hill. And check this out. Hundreds of people packed Fountain Park this morning to celebrate the historic day for the Carolinas. We have live team coverage right now at noon, including sports director Phil Orban. He was with owner David Tepper's excitement. We start things out, though, with South Carolina Bureau reporter Greg Suskin on what this means for everyone. Greg.
Yeah, and I will tell you, it's so exciting down here today. Even going back months ago when all this was still being kicked around down in Columbia, people here in Rock Hill were telling me that once this is a done deal, they said, we're going to have a huge pep rally right here in Fountain Park downtown. We're going to welcome this team the right way, and that's just what they finished up just this morning. And hundreds of people did show up this morning in Fountain Park here to welcome this team as the Carolina Panthers expand into South Carolina. They brought along Sir Purr, the Top Cats, a drum line as well. And of course, every state, local, and even federal lawmaker that had anything to do with this was also here to thank the team. Because you'll remember, this was never just as simple as team owner David Tepper saying, hey, I want to build a practice facility in South Carolina, because the state had to change the law to allow this to happen. Of course, that was a very long battle, a hard-fought battle. Some fans told me they had some doubts it was ever going to get to this day and see that happen, but today it was all smiles and excitement.
Incredible disbelief, but yes, this is my town and my team. This is a double. You get 2.
Yeah, and that common refrain of 2 states, 1 team was heard a lot here in Rock Hill this morning. Of course, we'll have full coverage of this tonight on Eyewitness News, and also more information about just why this is such a landmark deal for Rock Hill. Back to you.
A lot of excitement. Our Greg Suskin reporting for us live from Fountain Park. Let's bring in sports director Phil Orban now. Phil, major deal, of course, for the Panthers, for Rock Hill, and of course, David Tepper, who's really pushing for this.
Yeah, exactly. And David Tepper's message to Rock Hill was simple and straightforward. This is not just a football field coming to the city. It was a bill signing unlike any you'd seen before. Fans cheering the Panthers owner as he approached the podium with his message of what the team really means by the motto, 2 states, 1 team. Tepper talked about what else was coming to the city with the Panthers. World-class medical facilities, a busier Rock Hill airport bringing in patients to be treated, and of course, the state-of-the-art practice facility scheduled to be built in Rock Hill. The idea was simple. Everything that makes the Panthers great in Charlotte is coming with them to South Carolina.
So this is going to be a showcase down here and going to bring people down to this region, and we'll have, just a sense of excellence, not only up there for the football team, but everything we do down here in Rock Hill, South Carolina.
And one other interesting note, David Tepper touched on the future with the team in Spartanburg. He said he would never abandon the team's long-time training camp home entirely, instead suggesting perhaps a fan fest would be hosted there in the future. Back to you. All
right, Phil Orban live for us from Rock Hill. Definitely an exciting day out there, Phil. Thanks. Channel 9's coverage of this historic day for the Carolinas not over yet. Our Greg Suskin will have live reports for us once again today, starting at 5 o'clock. A 16-year-old killed while getting ready for school this morning. That shooting happened at his home in Northwest Charlotte around 6 a.m. Police say that home was targeted, but they have not yet said why. Veteran crime reporter Glenn Counts is live for us now. Glenn, you spoke with the teen's heartbroken aunt.
Yeah, as you can see here behind me, this is still quite an active scene here. Family, friends, and church members have come here to support this family. The tragedy is that the victim, Jason Goolsby, was just 16 years old. He was in an upstairs bedroom when he was shot and killed. Police say that a gunman walked up to the house and opened fire, spraying the first and second floors. Officers don't know if this teen was specifically targeted or if the gunman was trying to send a message to someone else. Now, there were at least 6 people inside the home at the time, including 2 children who were below the age of 5. An aunt who had just come in from out of town, basically she stepped outside for a minute just for a smoke break. She just made it back inside before the shots rang out.
When I walked in the house, I heard the gunshots. I went to grab my little nephew so we can get on the floor. And my sister was upstairs, her and her daughter. And her daughter went in the room to check on her son, and Shania had blood on her hands, and he got hit in the head. And they couldn't save him.
Well, members of CMPD's gang unit were also here. Of course, that doesn't mean that this is necessarily gang-related, but it does speak to the fact that everything is on the table. And this next point sort of speaks to fate. We're told that the teen was asleep on a sofa in that bedroom, and had his head been in the opposite direction, he would still be alive. Back to you.
All right, Glenn Counts live for us in Northwest Charlotte. Thank you, Glenn. The 16-year-old is now the 54th person in our city to lose their life to violence. That's more than this time last year and this time in 2017. Police are begging Charlotte not to answer minor problems with violence. In the next 4 hours, Mecklenburg County Sheriff Gary McFadden will address immigration, his decision to pull out of the 287G program, and a recent arrest involving a man in the country illegally. CMPD arrested this man, Luis Pineda Encheta, twice, the most recent after a 9-hour standoff where he was accused of domestic violence. He was able to bond out of jail after both of those arrests. Sheriff McFadden does not cooperate with the immigration program known as 287G, but ICE says at the very least they should have been notified of Pineda Encheta's release. Channel 9 will be at this afternoon's news conference with Sheriff McFadden. We'll have the very latest live at 5 o'clock. Booze, teens, and money. Police were warning of an increase in illegal parties and teens drinking. Alcoholic beverage control officers shut down 3 to 6 parties every week. They say promoters will rent a property for just a day or two and then hold an illegal party. Usually tickets and alcohol are sold without permits. CMPD is asking parents to sit down with their kids and talk to them about the dangers of underage drinking. A family says this man accused of shooting their daughter has threatened to kill her before. Police say Jeremy Baldridge shot and killed Caitlin Truax yesterday morning in Burke County. Today, he faced a judge. And our Dave Faraday was inside the courtroom. He joins us live now. Dave?
John, a very emotional court appearance. Several family members of the victim's family was in the courtroom this morning. They were fighting back tears as that suspect appeared before the judge. The father of the victim telling me that he believes the suspect should be put to death for this murder. Take a look at this video that we shot earlier. This is video of Jeremy Baldridge walking into the courtroom right past family members of his ex-girlfriend, Caitlin Truax, was shot and killed outside a home near the town of Eichard Monday night. Her family says Baldridge repeatedly threatened the 18-year-old when they dated. In court papers filed last December, he was accused of making a statement of a death wish involving Truax. We spoke with family members after the court appearance who told us they cannot forgive him for what happened.
She thought that she could fix him. There's no fix to that.
I don't think she took it serious.
Yeah, he's threatened to kill her hundreds of times. I have a phone full of threats and the stuff that he did to her.
And an important piece of evidence in this case is the 911 call made immediately after the murder. We're told that that was made by Baldridge. Sheriff deputies saying that he confessed during that 911 call. We've been working to try to get that call earlier this morning. I've been told that it's going to be a decision left up to the district attorney here in Burke County. Back to you, John.
Dave Faraday live. Just an awful story. Live in Morganton. Dave, thanks. CMS officials decided on the future of the Ray Farms School in South Charlotte. That school will be 70% home boundary, 30% from the lottery. Parents wanted the school to be a full magnet, but the superintendent says it's just not possible. Some students who currently go to McKee Road or Polo Ridge will go to the new school. Homeowners in Mecklenburg County can expect to pay more in property taxes. Last night, county commissioners passed a $2.6 billion budget. Did not come without controversy, though. Pat Cotham raised red flags last week after Chairman George Dunlap used his personal email to tell other commissioners his proposed budget changes. Cotham says it was like a backroom deal. Dunlap doesn't see it that way. The budget will go into effect July 1st. As we mentioned, it does raise property taxes. Most families will pay at least an extra $10 a month. The budget also designates $13 million to affordable housing and funds most of the Cross Charlotte Trail. Mail stolen from dozens of neighbors with personal information inside. Next, the mistake the thief made that led to his arrest.
And rain is arriving in our area. This is day one of at least 7 days of rain. We'll time out when it'll arrive in your area coming up.
And a man thought he won $50,000. Then he realized he'd actually won the Powerball jackpot. Next, the simple way he chose those winning numbers.
Weather on WSOC is driven by Toyota of North Charlotte, I-77, exit 23, where big city low prices are just a click away.
You know, it is a big day here at Channel 9 because right now our 9 food drive is underway right outside of our studios. Runs until 7 tonight. Let's go outside to anchor Brittany Johnson as people are dropping off non-perishable food items. So how's it been so far?
So far, it's been incredible. Just look at the donations that have been brought in. We've got cereal, we've got soup, non-perishable food items that will go directly to families in our area, especially going into the summer. There is such a need. We're hoping to fill this truck and so many others. This year, we're thrilled to be partnering with the Carolina Panthers. We have our friends from the Panthers here now helping us fill these bins with food for local families. Also, we're going to have Sir Per here from 1:45 to 2 o'clock, so come on out. You've got members of our news team that are going to be here. You'll meet Sir Per if you come from 1:45 to 2. Bring donations. We've had viewers come, sorority groups come. You can get some co-workers together. All we need is for you to think about people in our community. Going into the summer, we have more than 100,000 children in our area that will not be having access to the breakfast and lunch meals that they get during the school year, so this makes a huge difference to them. All these donations will be going to Second Harvest Food Bank. They're going to work with our partners in the community to make sure those kids are fed throughout the summer, to make sure seniors are fed as well. So go ahead. We're going to be here in front of our studios from 1901 North Tryon Street from 10 until 7 o'clock tonight. We look forward to seeing you, and we thank you for your support. John?
Yeah, good turnout so far. Brittany, thank you for that. This man faces more than 50 charges, accused of stealing bags full of mail from Union County homes. Union County deputies aren't sure just how many people had their mail stolen or if Cody Walden targeted specific neighborhoods. Investigators say the mail included bank records, tax documents, all of it he had sorted through. Deputies learned about it when a woman heard some car blaring music. She went out to her mailbox and saw someone stealing her mail. She recorded the whole thing.
He knows our address, he knows our financial information. I don't know what other bills or what other information was in my mailbox.
We're still in the process of trying to notify the victims who may not even be aware that they had mail stolen.
Now, deputies found Walden at a mobile home. They say he had a stolen car out front with bags of mail stuffed inside. Well, a North Carolina man says a fortune cookie is what helped him win the $344 million Powerball jackpot, believe it or not. Charles Jackson Jr. says his granddaughter gave him a fortune cookie 5 years ago, told him to play certain numbers, so he's been playing them ever since. Well, this weekend it finally paid off. First, though, he thought he won $50,000. Then yesterday, he realized he actually won the jackpot. He'll get about $158 million after taxes. He's going to give some to his brother, and he's going to donate some to charities as well. Well, not the nicest day out there. We've had a pretty gloomy start. However, not seeing all that much rain right now. Let's get to meteorologist Jacqueline Scheer tracking some showers and storms.
Yeah, right now it's just looking a lot worse than it actually is because we're just seeing a little bit of light rain. But as we're going through the next few hours, this will definitely turn into a storm cloud here, and you can already start to see those in our sky cam that we're using it as a background for that graphic there. As we're pushing through the next few hours, we're watching this system as it pushes into our area. It looks like by the time we get to that afternoon commute, unfortunately, we are already talking about those strong storms over the metro area and then pushing into South Carolina. There is a storm threat for today. We can't emphasize that enough. And this storm threat sticks around really throughout the next 7 days here, all the way through the 7-day forecast. For today, it looks like that storm threat arrives about 5 p.m. for most spots here in our area. And until then, though, we just have some light showers. We've already been seeing those throughout the day, a few raindrops here and there, and that's been about the whole story. So we have a while before this arrives. But again, once it does arrive, it does not go anywhere anytime soon here, as we see those rain chances even picking up throughout the weekend. Definitely a soggy weekend on tap. I want to show you a little bit about Futurecast, though. We do get some breaks here and there as we go into the later part of this week here. Thursday, not looking super active, but by Friday, that's when things really start to ramp up for us, and they'll stay like that really all the way through the weekend there with very consistent rainfall. We're just covered in green most of the time. We might see some breaks here and there, but really want to move those plans indoors as much as possible as we're going towards the weekend here, because it's definitely not going to be a pretty one. As we're getting into the start of next week, we even still hold on to that rain. A few more breaks here and there as well, but this weekend definitely very messy. Now for this afternoon and really throughout the rest of this 7-day forecast, we're talking about heavy rain being the highest potential for a threat, but also damaging wind and hail being factors as we do track some severe storms throughout this system here, throughout this pattern that'll be moving in. but this rain is going to be a big issue. And as we're pushing through the weekend, once we get to Monday at noon, we're talking about 2 to 4 inches in some spots of rainfall falling. So you want to be very cautious of any flood-prone areas over the next few days, because there is a high potential that we'll be dealing with issues there. So here's that very messy 7-day forecast. Temperature is not really the story here because they're staying pretty consistent for the most part. It's just day after day of rain. But you know what, John? It's probably going to be a little bit helpful because we were seeing so many dry days in a row. We ended May a little bit drier than we should have. So we do need some rain. This might be a little too much of that.
It has been nice not having to mow as much, though.
Right.
That's going to change, I'm sure.
That's a good way to look at it.
Jacqueline, thanks. We'll be right back. Two of the largest testing labs in the country were both hit by data breaches. The most recent impacts 7.7 million LabCorp patients. The breach happened between August 1st and March 30th. Addresses, names, and birthdays may have been exposed. 12 million patients with Quest Diagnostics also impacted by the data breach. It may have involved customer payment information like credit card numbers. This also impacts their medical information.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Bojangles' famous chicken and biscuits. It's Bo time.
Hey, we want to show you another live look here. Channel 9 studios just outside. This is our 9 food drive, and we've got the volunteers very busy loading up the truck. These are all the donations folks have been bringing in for the special collection that runs until 7 o'clock tonight. We can't do it without you. We're at 1901 North Tryon Street. We want to fill up that entire truck with the non-perishable food. And you can also meet members of our team. We'll be there. And also, Sir Purr will be stopping by at 1:45. You got about an hour and 15 minutes, and he'll be here for a little bit to hopefully encourage folks to stop on by. And if the weather holds off, that'd be nice. But we do have a tent out there, so that's the good news.
Yeah, the worst we'll see for the next few hours will be a few drizzles, but I would recommend getting out there sooner rather than later, because by about 5 p.m. that's when we start to see that stronger stuff rolling through. And you definitely don't want to get rained on while you're dropping those things off.
All right, Jacqueline, thanks. And either way, we'd love to see you out here for the 9 food drive. You have till 7 o'clock. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you at 5.
WSOC-TV is a Cox Media Group station.
Breaking right now at noon, 2 states, 1 team, now a reality. The Panthers bill now signed into law, giving them the green light to build a state-of-the-art practice facility and offices just across the border. A family devastated, their 16-year-old killed while getting ready for school. Police say someone targeted his home overnight.
And rain is back in the forecast, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. We're taking a look at just how much rain you'll see in your neighborhood.
Our 9 food drive underway right now. This is happening outside of our TV studios here in North Charlotte. It's all to make sure kids don't go hungry this summer. You're watching Eyewitness News live at noon. And we've got a lot to walk you through at noon. We start things out with storms getting ready to roll into the Charlotte area. You can see really gloomy out here from our Charlotte cam. And meteorologist Jacqueline Shearer is using Charlotte's only local radar to pinpoint when these showers and storms are going to move in, Jacqueline.
Yeah, and you know what? They are not far from reaching our area. We've been watching our national satellite network all day today as it pushes through our area, bringing with it a lot of rain. And we're seeing, of course, that heavier rain starting to move into the picture as well. When we're looking at a satellite and radar image, when we start to get into those yellows, reds, and oranges, that's when we're talking about heavy rain. So we definitely see that with this system, but we also see quite a bit of instability, and that's indicated by a little bit of that lightning in addition to some other impacts that they're dealing with there. So as we take a really close look at early warning Doppler 9, you see just how close it is to us. In fact, it is now in the high country, pushing towards the Charlotte area, arriving here this afternoon. And once it arrives, it really doesn't go anywhere anytime soon. We don't really get many breaks here over the entire 7-day forecast. We're going to take a look at just how much rain you can expect in your neighborhood all throughout the weekend, coming up in just a few minutes, John.
Breaking right now at noon, 2 states, 1 team is now a reality. Governor Henry McMaster just signed a $115 million incentives bill into law. It means the Panthers can build a state-of-the-art headquarters in Rock Hill. And check this out. Hundreds of people packed Fountain Park this morning to celebrate the historic day for the Carolinas. We have live team coverage right now at noon, including sports director Phil Orban. He was with owner David Tepper's excitement. We start things out, though, with South Carolina Bureau reporter Greg Suskin on what this means for everyone. Greg.
Yeah, and I will tell you, it's so exciting down here today. Even going back months ago when all this was still being kicked around down in Columbia, people here in Rock Hill were telling me that once this is a done deal, they said, we're going to have a huge pep rally right here in Fountain Park downtown. We're going to welcome this team the right way, and that's just what they finished up just this morning. And hundreds of people did show up this morning in Fountain Park here to welcome this team as the Carolina Panthers expand into South Carolina. They brought along Sir Purr, the top cat.